We turned this clapped E46 into a clapped drift machine.
But it's still missing some of the most important drift upgrades.
So today we're installing a hydraulic handbrake and a couple mods.
And then having a pro drifter teach us how to use them.
Let's do it. So last drift event, our rear end was knocking like crazy. So we're gonna visit our friend Kane at C&P Auto and see what we can find.
Kane is basically a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the E46 chassis, and he designs and builds some of the best aftermarket parts for Beamers. So we visited his workshop and pretty quickly we found that our rear camber arms have died. When we lowered our car, it added a ton of negative camber, which isn't good for handling or tire wear. The factory rear camber arms don't have any adjustment, so we have been using some cheap adjustable camber arms we found online. And look, we got what we paid for. So we're going to be installing some C&P adjustable rear camber arms. These things are built solid and allow us to easily dial in our rear camber. They also have free pivoting spherical bearings, which means they're not going to bind up under heavy cornering, but instead keep our wheel where we actually want it when we're sideways. First, we've got to take the exhaust and diff out.
Josh, I might need some back rubs tonight.
And after lowering the subframe, we can take out the old camber arms. Getting in the new camber arms is pretty easy with just one bolt on either side of the arms. And with a temporary iPhone alignment to get us home, we can put the car back together. And now our knocking issue is fixed and our rear end is stiffer than ever.
So the next issue we're gonna fix is the power steering overheating. Now, this has ended our day at multiple events and it's just been a major issue. So to fix that and make sure it doesn't happen again, we've installed a power steering cooler. So this is actually an automatic transmission fluid cooler from a Camry's radiator. So we got this for free from a scrap bin. And so what we've done is we've actually plumbed it into the steering rack. So the fluid goes from the reservoir into the steering rack, then into this cooler, and then back out into the reservoir again. And this whole setup cost us under $50. Now, some kits online charge like $400 or $500 for a whole steering cooler setup. And yeah, they'll probably be more effective, but for the budget, this is awesome. Plus it's great that we use some parts that we're gonna end up in landfill anyway.
It's probably the most green part of the car.
Yeah, this is part, we're saving the planet with this. The rest
Not
of the
the rest
car
of it.
doesn't save the planet. And then we burn tires all day, so that's... One thing we have seen a lot of people do is actually go to an electric steering pump, and there's some cars like the Astra and some Vauxhalls that have some steering pumps that are easy plug and play. We couldn't really find one near us that was gonna be convenient and cheap. So we've gone for this for now, but maybe in the future we should do that.
Our next upgrade is front and rear strut bars. One of the E46's fatal flaws is that the strut towers can do this. And with our stiff suspension and questionable drift skills, our chassis is going through even more stress than the average E46. So by connecting the top of the strut towers together, the force of impacts can be more evenly distributed between them. The added rigidity should also sharpen our steering response a little bit. The best part though is this is one of the easiest mods to install. For the front, undo the 3 nuts on each tower and drop the bar in, adjusting the length to get the perfect fit. And after putting the bolts back on, the front bar is ready to go. And for the rear, we just need to undo the strut bolts on each side and pop in the new strut bar.
And with the strut bars installed, it's time for the biggest upgrade of the video. A hidden hydro handbrake kit from our friends at CNC71. And there it is. This is exciting.
This is exciting.
I'm excited.
You excited?
I'm excited. Now, this is the world's first right-hand drive hidden hydro handbrake. Included in the kit is a mounting bracket, your master cylinder, your handbrake extension, and some goodies. The best part of this kit is that it'll be hidden in our center console with a removable handle, keeping our interior looking clean compared to typical setups. So the first thing we have to do, remove the center console.
So now that we have our center console out, we can go ahead and test fit this bracket. It's gonna go right here, and eventually when we chuck in the handle, it's gonna sit right there, which is perfect from the driver's side. Now an issue we're gonna have is we have a solid mounted shifter, and this one actually is quite bulky. Most of the ones we see online actually are a lot slimmer than this. Because it is quite bulky, we're gonna check if we need to shave off any of the side. And yeah, it's definitely looking like we'll have to shave off a little bit of the side.
We're going to use an angle grinder to carefully shave the side of the shifter and make room for our handbrake.
Remember, safety first.
After removing a decent amount of material, we're going to test fit again to see how close we are.
Oh, we're close.
Is it still needs a little bit more?
It needs more.
Surely. Wow.
Did you get it?
That's it.
That's the one?
That's the one.
Oh, let's go. With the shifter fitting perfectly, it's time to make some room for the brake cylinder. We're going to create a small cutout here with a rotary tool. My ability to cut a straight line is pretty bad.
I'm not exactly doing the cleanest job here.
But this will be hidden from sight when the center console is reinstalled, so who cares? After cutting away a chunk, we're going to go back over with the grinding attachment to smooth the edges and create a little more space. And with our brake cylinder fitting perfectly, it's time to install the brake lines. Originally, we were planning to make our own hard lines because on paper, it looked like the cheaper option. But once we added up the cost of the tubing, fittings, and all the tools we'd need, it really wasn't much cheaper than just buying a pre-made braided line kit. On top of that, for hard lines, we'd have to measure everything, bend the lines, flare the ends, and hope we got it right. These braided lines saved us a heap of time and headaches.
Now, when you install a hydraulic handbrake, you've got to make a choice between an inline or dual caliper setup. An inline setup basically uses the original factory brake lines and original brake caliper to lock up the rear wheels. However, it comes with one main limitation. You can't use the foot brake and the handbrake at the same time. Dual caliper solves this by adding an extra caliper to the rear brakes that is exclusively used by the handbrake. However, this is a lot more expensive and difficult to install as you're going to need a new caliper, a mounting bracket, and a whole set of brake lines. For non-pros like us though, inline is good enough, so we're going with that.
First, I have to remove this brake line that runs from the rear master cylinder to the ABS unit. I put down some old shirts to try and soak up the old brake fluid, but this is a little bit messy. And with the old line removed, we're now going to route our new ones. This hole in the firewall is the perfect spot for our lines. However, it is not quite big enough, so we're going to widen it with a drill.
We're gonna extend the hole in the firewall because it's just too small. It's not really easy to get it on video. It's kind of out of the way.
I'm mostly recording for when something goes wrong.
Now with our hole widened, we have enough room to feed our lines through. The lines connect to the handbrake with a reversible banjo bolt. Reversible being a little bit of a hard concept for Josh.
Why is it kind of fighting me?
You gotta put it the other way.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, if you flip it, it's not gonna fight you as much.
What do you mean by that? Flip it. It's upside down now.
Take the bolt out!
Oh. I see what he means now.
Fucking bolt out!
With that problem solved, we're going to hook up the lines to the brake cylinder and then pump fluid through them with an empty bottle in the end. This will help minimize the amount of air we have to bleed later. Now we can bolt the end of our brake line into the ABS unit and our hydraulic handbrake is almost ready to go. The next step is super important, bleeding the brake lines. We followed these instructions by Drift Tech, making sure to take the time to check there is no air left in the system. This was a pretty time-consuming process, but it's important to make sure we don't leave any air in the system, as this can dramatically reduce the performance of our brakes. After reassembling our console, the last step is to cut a hole in the ashtray. And while this was by no means a perfect job, here is the final result.
The Hydro looks awesome with the handle in, and when you take it out, there's almost no trace of it.
So with our hydraulic handbrake installed, it's time to hit the track.
The only problem is we actually don't know how to use a hydraulic handbrake. We're so used to clutch dumping and just power sliding out that we kind of haven't learned that skill. So this is Dylan from Ski Control, who is a pro drifter, pro motorsports driver. What's your title?
Others will call me an intermediate driver, but you know, we'll take a mention.
We own a motorsports company.
Yes, yeah.
So you have a lot of practice.
Yeah, motorsport driver training company, yeah. So we teach people how to do various forms of motorsports, and drifting's my thing, and yeah, we've kind of taken over the drifting world in Southeast Queensland, and just getting a load of people into it.
If you're going drifting, like Ski Control is the place to go, especially if you're learning like for the first time.
First time, intermediates, and also pros. We get pros out with us all the time, just practicing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what makes you good is seat time.
But that's perfect that you're the motorsports teacher because we got to learn a new skill. So hydraulic handbrake, when do we use this?
I really like that you guys didn't start with a hydraulic handbrake. A lot of people make a mistake and get into handbrake initiation straight away. And look, it's an easy way of doing it. They use it a lot in the States. Essentially what you're doing is you're locking up or slowing down the rear wheels to increase the slide of the car. Okay. So there's different uses for hydraulic handbrake. You can use it to lock up the rears to initiate a slide. You can use it to extend a slide if you're trying to stretch out a very long corner, for example. You can also use it to slow yourself down. So if you come into a corner too fast and you use a little bit of foot brake to slow you down, but it's coming out of drift, pull the handbrake and it'll go back to angle. So there's various uses for the hydraulic handbrake. Basically, you should use it as a little tool to help you do a bit more for drifting than the thing you use all the time. and please don't use it for changing direction.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll get you to drive us around and show us how to use this.
Yeah.
And then we'll get some tips, me and Riley, and then we might give it a go.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, awesome. Let's get out there.
No worries.
With Dylan in the driver's seat, we're going to get a demonstration of the 3 techniques in action.
So clutch, turn, handbrake, catch it, big long slide because we have no grip, and then on the power. And now we're going to use it for a slowdown. So coming into here, we're off, clutches in, a little bit of handbrake just to slow it down, and then clutch it out to get out of going in because we're at low speed. Coming in through here. Let's pretend we're not going to make this corner, so just a little bit of handbrake just to extend it, and then back on the power again. So you'll see it was about to straighten up at that point.
Yeah.
So by using the handbrake, it got the back end back out, connected the 2 corners, and made it work all as one.
After a few more runs to show us just what can be done in the right hands, Dylan handed it over to me to give it a go. And look, my first couple runs using the handbrake weren't great.
Yeah, clutch, turn, handbrake. Handbrake on the ball. Clutch, get your clutch in. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I might have killed the car accidentally. Whoopsie.
That's a good.
Luckily, Dylan could tell exactly where I was going wrong and gave me some tips.
So when you use the handbrake,
Yeah.
pull it longer.
Pull it longer.
Pull it harder.
Okay.
Okay. Let it really lock up, and you can go in even faster again.
Okay.
And the other thing is, look, if it hasn't worked the first time, use what you know for getting it sideways. So clutch kick it back there, forget about the handbrake, and then we'll go back into using the handbrake once you're in a slide.
Okay.
And with Dylan's advice, I started getting the hang of it.
Pick up the speed a bit more than that. All right, clutch, turn, handbrake. There we go.
Okay. I kind of got it there.
It worked really well.
And on the next run, it finally clicked.
All right. Okay, so we'll keep sliding, keep sliding, keep sliding, keep sliding, keep sliding, keep going. Okay, clutch in. Keep it going, yeah. More down. Good job. All right, yeah. Okay, power, 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 power. Handbrake. Power, power, power.
All right. I felt a lot better that time. That felt a lot better. Well, thank you so much, Dylan.
That's all right, man.
I'm really keen to get some more seat time.
Yeah.
Now I got to show Riley the tips.
Yeah, so you guys go out there now, you've got the information, start giving it all to him, and you guys just keep practicing it.
Well, let's get back into the car.
Yeah, you guys jump on out,
Yeah.
and we'll see you out there. Cool.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cheers,
Dylan.
man. See ya.
After getting the crash course from Josh, it was my turn behind the wheel. It took a couple of turns to get the technique down,
That's right.
but after channeling my inner Takumi, I started to get the hang of it. We had a bit more practice in the rain, but to really see what we could do, we had to come back in the dry.
So we came back a few days later, and after adjusting to having way more grip, we started having a lot of fun.
Let's go. Oh, that was so clean. Barely made that.
All in all, it's a good day.
Successful day.
Successful day.
The car is like really,
It's in a good spot.
it's not braking every time we go. which is
Big thumbs up.
the Hydro is awesome to use. So much
So
fun.
good.
So much fun to use. I love the hidden Hydro. Thank goodness CNC71 made one for right-hand drive cars.
Finally.
Because we've wanted one for ages and no one made one for our cars. They all made them for left-hand drive and we were left out. It's awesome. Thanks to them for sending it to us.
I was a little bit skeptical going into the power steering pump, but as long as you get rid of the ABS fuse,
Make sure you do the fuses.
it's been perfect.
Our rear end is now way better than it was before because we got those camber runs from Kane.
Solid everything.
It was just like shifting really bad before. I guess that's why you don't get cheap Chinese ones. There's so many things we could do with this car, and honestly, it's crazy how far we've come.
Big time.
Let us know what you want to see us do next, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed, hit that like button. And we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully we won't blow up the car between now and then.
Fingers crossed.
Please.